Coming up for you on this edition of Nonstop Tech, we're going to give you our back to school edition, and we got some tips, some tricks, some picks, and we're going to make fun of Tim. Stick around for this edition of Nonstop Tech. Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of Nonstop Tech. I am your host Doc.
I'm Jerome.
I'm Tim.
I thought he was going to try to. I thought he was going to try to get you. I was like, okay, way to go, Tim. Anyway, it's been a while, guys. We've been super busy. Haven't had a chance to record a podcast. And I got sick. That he got sick. That he's never sick. But it was just crazy. Anyway, we're back. So Tom, please stop messaging me, tweeting me, and sending me Facebooks, asking me when we're going to do another show because we're doing it now.
Yeah,
Thank goodness.
And normally on these shows we start out with a bit of news. There is no freaking news. It's summer and normally it's kind of slow this time. So what we're going to do is get you ready for back to school. Tim recently out.
A couple of years ago.
How many?
Graduated 2010. So
I graduated in 05 and he's like a couple years. Yeah, okay. That's a couple.
Okay.
All right.
The iPad came out.
But actually Jerome is still going to school.
See, I had the iPad for one semester.
Done, now computer science.
Yeah. So anyway, what we're going to do is give you some apps and some things to sort of help you prepare. Now,
actually, I have one tip before we get into that. You're gonna need check when you go to school. Check your stores for discounts. Read that handbook, because most people they don't even look at that thing. You kind of skip over it and go right to class. It is. But there's so many discounts where you can get stuff for free.
Yes.
While you're going to school, you can get the hardware that you actually need to run all this stuff. Just make sure you check for discounts.
I think a lot of people, I am amazed that they don't know that they get certain education discounts and they pay full retail for stuff that they can get upwards of 50, 60, some things like 90% off or free.
We're poor students. We gotta.
Yeah, so it helps to read the handbook and just know.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so good point, Jerome. When I was going to school, if there was anything that was a challenge, it was file management. It was forgetting files at home, and we had VNC and remote desktop as ways to get in, sort of the original issues of Log Me In, but they were super slow and super cumbersome. Now, I have been a .Mac user since it was called iTools, so I had that, but again, it was super, super slow and didn't really work. So, we're going to talk about that. I think initially we want to talk about Gmail.
Sure.
Okay. So when you were at Butler,
were
you asked by a university to use your .edu address?
No.
But you had one?
I had one.
What did web interface look like?
It was unusable.
Yeah, well, that was our issue at UH. Until UH meaning University of Hawaii. Until recently, UH now has Google Apps. I know a lot of schools are moving into that. That's been Google's big thing. That's been their give back to universities. So if it's like Tim's school, great basketball team by the way. If your school uses one of the old school, the company is called Lumiere, web interface type email addresses, I would say forward that directly into Gmail for a couple reasons. Takes care of spam. You get access to really great shortcut keys, which allows you to power through email super, super fast. And there's just a little, to me, it's just faster and easier.
Virtually unlimited storage. At Butler, I had every few months. You had to clear out your inboxes. Your forwards aren't happening because it's full.
UH had 20 megs.
UH had 20 megs. I literally had flash drives that were bigger than our storage. And then they wanted you to use that as your FTP account when you're in web development. Like
it's horrible. You always get crap. I gotta move this. I gotta.
Could you imagine right now we're trying to build sites and you only have this 20 meg folder? It's ridiculous.
You gotta build clean code, Doc.
So,
oh wow,
nice. I had the program on a VAX. We won't even talk about that. So anyway, Gmail is definitely one of your answers. There's a lot of things you can do to Gmail to make it more powerful than it really is. But the most important one to me is turn on keyboard shortcuts, which is going to be in your settings, and hit Shift ? And start to teach yourself these shortcut keys. You will fly through email once you get the hang of it.
That's true.
Okay. Another thing that I just learned today is that if you have dots in your email address, like tim.chatton or jerome.kohler, they don't actually work. They work, but they don't work.
My mind blew up when
you do not need it. If your email address is mike.jones, @gmail.com, you can literally take the dot out and it'll still work. Gmail ignores the dots.
That's amazing.
So now, Here's another cool one. So you go to class, and the teacher may or may not ask you what's your email address. Okay, depends on how savvy the teacher is. A lot of them will pull it off of the identification rules. The other ones, they'll sort of manually build their list. So, cool trick. I have docrock@gmail.com, right? I can do docrock plus ANTH201 @gmail.com. I can do docrock at, what is it, food and nutrition. I could do like FNH, food, nutrition, and health. Right, you could do that, or you can do at ITS 100. So you can do a plus at whatever your class is to auto-segregate your mails brought into the
That's cool.
And you can do that with anything. So even if you were to sign up for a service like Evernote, right, and you need an email address, you can do your name plus Evernote or EVN@gmail.com, and any mail you get from them will automatically be filed in under these perfect names.
Quick question: do you have to create these things first, or will it auto-create?
It'll automatically work.
Okay.
But once it's getting in there, it works because you search off the address. But if you want to make it, you create labels that will then do filters.
So it won't automatically create labels for you?
No, I believe there is a Labs utility that will do that.
Like, where will it put it then?
It'll just be in your regular folder.
Oh, okay.
But you can search based off of that email address.
Labs is gone.
Gotcha.
Huh?
Labs gone. Google Labs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't like
the
experimental stuff,
Hey, that's cool. Well, they just bought like a couple of. They just bought Sparrow.
They did.
So it'll be super interesting to see what goes down.
I can't wait to see what happens with that. They have a lot more funding now to do what they want.
It's kind of cool. So anyway, I say use your Gmail. Now, Tim, you're an Evernote man.
I am.
You use Evernote in school.
I love it. Yeah.
Tell us your experience with that.
So I use it a couple different ways. First off, freshman year in college, I knew I bought the 17-inch MacBook Pro back in the day. They don't make those anymore. I knew I just wanted to carry that to class, not all my books. So I ended up going to ripping out the binding of my books and scanned all my books, and those are still in my Evernote account. So I'm able to search those books. I'm able to do all kind of cool stuff there, and I can have like my textbook up next to, say, my notes for the class up. It'll copy text out of that into like my notes, which is cool. Also, I take notes with Evernote during class, and the cool thing is now we have iPhones and iPads. We didn't really have those when I went to college. We had iPhones, but so now they have this awesome iOS app as well. So you're able to record audio while taking notes, all on your iPad or iPhone, and you can even do it in rich text, which is pretty sweet. So Evernote is just beyond phenomenal. So I'd recommend it.
Very cool. One thing that I would say is some textbooks will come unbound. And again, I have a Fujitsu SnapScan, so it was a great way to scan both sides. But scanning any book, like even if you're not in school, say your company gives you a manual, scanning that stuff and having it on hand in your iPhone is great. Because when that one douchebag person at the office tries to tell you that XYZ is company policy, you're like, no, it's not. And he's like, yeah, it is. You can go, section 42, paragraph 12, minus K, carry the 1. No, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's great. You can just search Evernote. It's like
it's right
this
there.
sentence, or like you're like need to find like a part in the book. It's like a teacher starts reading it. You type in the sentence, boom, you're there.
You can get right there.
Or you can just record the audio too.
Yeah, you know what? I always did. I used to use mini discs because I didn't have a phone that could record. Back in the day, I used to use a mini disc to record my classes, and then with my notebook, I used to record with my notebook because the iBooks and then iMacs later. MacBook. All had built-in microphones.
So this first year, iBooks Author will be a thing. Will it take off this year? Or will it take a couple of years?
I think it'll take a couple of years, but I know that Pearson, if you have books from the Pearson guys, you probably can get an iBooks Author version of your textbook, which is epic.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
So textbook is, as a PDF, if you can get it, go that route. It kind of chaps my...
most professors are providing, luckily, PDFs right now.
Well, I'm saying, some textbook guys, like I remember my food and nutrition book specifically, they wanted to charge, and this was literally only like 2 years ago because I was doing a special class, I ended up taking this class. They wanted to charge an extra $30 for a PDF, and I was like pissed. Because
that should be cheaper for them.
It should be cheaper because they use that. Well, they use that PDF to get the book printed.
Yeah.
Now the jacked up part is the formatting of this PDF was circa 2000, so it was messy. And I paid the $30, and I wanted to choke the living crap out of them. But luckily, that company was Pearson, and now they have adopted the iBooks methodology. So hopefully some of that has gone away.
Hopefully. I've seen just so many horrendous PDFs.
So anyway, scanning a textbook is a great idea. Let's look at Dropbox and Google Drive. If you're using Gmail, you automatically have Google Drive. Dropbox is great because of the iOS integration. It works really well with iOS. The neat thing is you never have to worry about forgetting files, right?
That excuse won't work anymore.
That excuse is sort of out the window. But the one thing that Google Docs, Google Drive brings that Dropbox doesn't, and which is why I say use both, it's going to sound super crazy, put it in Dropbox, but then also take it and upload it into Google Docs and Google Drive. And I'll tell you why. Because one really, really neat thing about Google Docs and Google Drive, Google Docs is Word, Excel, and PowerPoint copies, 100%. Do not buy Microsoft Word.
No.
Right? But the collaboration features in Google Doc is so epic. We could be writing a presentation. Yep. And I could like, Tim, you got the first 10 slides, I got the middle 10 slides, Jerome, you got the last 10. And I can literally be working and see Tim's updates while I'm working on my section. And
it's kind of unnerving at first.
It's cool. No, because you see the cursor moving while you're in a different section, right? But the cool thing about that is we can do it with Google Hangout. And Tim could be at one spot, I could be at another, Jerome could be at another. We don't have to do that thing where we meet up at the library.
No more wasting gas, no more having to make sure everyone's schedules kind of meet up because you have to take transportation into account. It's a pain.
Right. So honestly, that is hands down the best way to do it.
Thank you, Bert, for actually using that for one of our classes.
So did you like it when you were doing it for class?
Yeah, it helped out a lot. It was so much better than having to actually go, for example, for was it professor timeout? What the heck was that called again?
Office
time. Oh my
Office
God.
hours.
Yeah. Office hours. You didn't have to go in there. You just talk to one.
So to do what you got to do. So again, you got Gmail, you got Google Drive, which is epic, Dropbox, which is epic, Evernote, which is epic. Yep. And then last one to talk about creating some documents. Okay, we're creating documents. Every teacher is going to tell you to use Microsoft Word. Like I said a few minutes ago, screw that. Do not buy Microsoft Word.
Nod your head.
Yeah, just say okay, I have it, and then you leave, and you go create your stuff in Google Docs. You have what is it? LibreOffice,
Open Office,
or even Evernote.
Evernote, Evernote can do it, and literally in your Windows 7, actually all the way back to XP, or your Mac, TextEdit or WordPad will do 100% compatible Word documents, and it will basically both work using the full-on collegiate requirements. Your MLA, your Chicago style, your AM, whatever, it uses all of that.
Yep.
With nothing special. So that's the best way to do it. Hands down.
Absolutely.
And I think your professor will love you too, versus having to add in all these special little things, trying to cheat, trying to make it a little longer. not speaking from experience.
Well, the cool part about using that either text editor or Notepad++ is a good one for Windows, or Sublime Text for the Mac and Windows. They use so little system resources that your battery time will last forever. Because you're not, Word and Pages take up a lot.
It bored me in college seeing people on their laptops during class taking notes in Word. It's like, why are you taking notes, which is just simple text mostly in Word?
Well, even startup time is much longer. Like if you look at Office versus like a text editing program, you're like done typing. I always see people struggle, like, oh my God, I gotta get everything started up.
If you use a text editor, dude, you're just in there. Now, the iPad, if you have one, or the Android pads, they're also great, like for taking notes in class or just even writing on the go. You can just pick up and write wherever. And my favorite writer right now is Byword. Yeah. Maybe hands down, and Evernote. Like I said, Evernote is great for writing.
One of my favorite things to do, if you're just entering text, it may sound kind of weird, but if you get one of those old iPad keyboard docks that you get pretty cheap on eBay, stick it with the 4th generation iPod Touch. You get this little tiny portable little virtual, what do you call it?
Word processor?
Yeah.
And then what you do is you pick up a cheap plate holder.
But it works great because the iPod Touch fits in there great, and it's like if you don't have money for a big expensive laptop, you can also use an iPod Touch to take notes and
and just jam.
Like even the new Nexus 7 for $199, if you just need to take notes.
There you go. And it has a big screen.
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll go through some tips, tricks, and picks.
Should we
add some light?
Last time we didn't talk at all about computer to get like any. Should we talk about that at all? No.
I'm worried about adding the light now and changing the picture, but it got dark like super quick. So let's just do this fast. All right.
Just like back on that.
No, it's great.
Okay.
And we're back. So let's do some picks real quick. What do you got for us, Jerome?
Mine's gonna have to be, since as soon as you go to college, you stop working out and you start gaining a lot of weight. I'm gonna recommend a little workout app for you. Most of the time, like people stop working out because it's the same freaking repetitive thing over and over. This app called Sworkit, it allows you, it just gives you kind of you can choose, let's say a 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minute, your time's important, workout, and you can choose like, hey, I want to do upper body, I want everything goes, just a different section of the body you want to work on. You hit go, and it does it in like 30-second increments. You do one exercise, you move to next, move to next, move to next. It's just a nice way to kind of liven up your exercise routine.
Cool. And you, Tim, what do you got?
I got this awesome battery here. So in college,
there's your workout right there, lugging that around.
So in college, I frequently had power outages in Indiana, all the thunderstorms and crap going on out there. And so with this, you can run the 11-inch MacBook Air for 24 hours, so you can be the only one getting stuff done. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing. Also, if you're a college athlete, you travel around on airplanes a lot, you got this. You can have your laptop up the whole flight. You're good to go. So all around awesomeness. It's from Hyperjuice at hypermac or hyperjuice.com. This one was around $450 because it's like so huge and big. It's military grade, this will, for your zombie apocalypse, but this will run stuff forever, basically. This never dies. They have smaller ones if you're into that, and the smaller ones are especially useful for like just getting through the day of classes and stuff when you don't want to carry the big one. So
cool.
So here you go.
All right, and then my recommendation is going to be Google Chrome for iOS. It works both on the iPad and the iPhone. It's just a great alternative browser. To me, it's a lot quicker, and I like the fact that they have a little button here on the side that you can press, and you can do things like incognito tab for nefarious surfing. You also can see what your tabs look like on your other devices, and I like the fact that you can make it force request a desktop site. You go to certain sites, and they give you the mobile version, and you want the regular version. Like it's an iPad, like it should give me the full screen state. So I sort of like the fact that you can do that. It's much quicker to me. I really like it. I wish I could make it my default browser. And
our Android friends already get to deal with that browser, and it's good.
Another cool thing: unlimited tabs.
Unlimited tabs, yeah. And they have speak to search now too. So definitely, I say give Chrome for iOS a try. It costs this much, so just
that breaks the bank, man. Come on.
Yeah,
those bits are expensive.
Well, I mean, typing in all the finger strokes. Yeah. Time is money. I'm
going to ignore these guys.
Time is money.
Anyway, so that wraps up our quick back-to-school edition of Nonstop Tech. If you have any back-to-school suggestions, please send it to us at questions@nonstophonolulu.com. Also, if you have any feedback or questions for us, you can send it to that same address, questions@nonstophonolulu.com. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching another quick edition of Nonstop Tech.